Hello YouTubers, today I just watched The Outsider with Jared Leto on Netflix. The Outsider, not to be confused with a song from A Perfect Circle, but the Jared Leto 2018 film that just premiered on Netflix. Jared Leto plays a wartime prisoner. He's a prisoner of war, and during his time in prison he meets this man. They help each other escape, and that man is involved with the Yakuza, the Japanese mob. And he's this outsider in the Yakuza system. He ends up being a friend of this guy's and then works his way up within the criminal organization. And that is pretty much the plot of The Outsider. He also ends up falling in love with a man's sister. And from there, conflict ensues, not only with rival families, but from within the family as well. Takashi Miike was originally going to direct this with Tom Hardy. From then, Michael Fassbender and Jeremy Renner were considered before Jared Leto was cast the part. Martin Zandvliet directs the film, and the cast and crew do a good job for what they're giving. On paper, this looks like your run-of-the-mill cookie-cutter gangster film, and in many ways, it's pretty much The Last Samurai with the Yakuza. But one thing that bothered me here is when I saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be set in present day. I was wondering, how did a wartime prisoner end up with the Yakuza? No, this is after World War II, and it's in the year of 1954 where it starts. And some parts of it don't really feel like 1954. It feels very modern, and also it kind of feels like the early 60s more than 1954. And that's one thing I have to say about this film. It doesn't really feel like it's in the time period it's given in. But besides that, this has the seeds for a really great crime film, and it's very slow. The pacing is just horrible on this. It's really, really slow. But I do respect some of the Yakuza characters in this. It very much has that 60s, 70s Yakuza film vibe. Jared Leto, maybe he's supposed to be robotic, maybe he's supposed to appear like he's been in prison for a while, kind of like he's soulless. But he just appears creepy and just really just robotic in a way. And I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but you don't really get to see a sense of a person beneath this character. You also don't get to see a sense of him rising up the ranks of this organization, much like in films like Scarface or American Gangster. And this definitely would have been aided by going more the Scarface route with like a mix of Only God Forgives. And it makes you wonder, how would a white man be involved with the Yakuza? It's not unheard of. You did have this man named the White Devil who was involved with the Chinese mafia, but we're talking about the Yakuza in Japan. I don't know, but it works for the plot. I like the relationship he has with his friend, the brother of the woman he loves. Their relationship there. Him being an outsider, a Gaijin as they call him. Gaijin, that would have been a better title for the film. It would have been badass. I do like that samurai aspect of Jared Leto, of him having honor and loyalty to the Yakuza, his new family. And you do get some characters from his past, but really, it's just some filler scenes. It really doesn't go anywhere. There's this past they allude to, but you don't really know how he ended up in prison. And I do like him growing out his hair. The beginning is really great. It's really gritty. Kind of has like that Bam Begins vibe. They don't spend too much time in the prison, though, and I really wish they did. Ultimately, they could have narrowed some stuff down, sprinkled a bit of the action from the later end of the film throughout, and I think they could have made a 3-hour epic film in the likes of, again, Scarface, Godfather, or Goodfellas. But I do like the inner turmoil within the organizations. You do find it very predictable at times of who's going to betray who and where one thing will lead to another. I do like that, but I was really, really, really let down with this. It looked intriguing, and I really wanted to see it. I like Jared Leto's work, and he does somewhat of an okay job here. I don't know if it's the writing or just the acting. He just felt robotic in this, and I don't mind it, but I would have loved to see a transition of him just being like a cold-blooded, like gangster/killer, part of the Yakuza. And I do like the stuff with the brother, though, like I said earlier. But it really doesn't have that much action. And I'm okay with having long scenes, but it really goes nowhere, the story. It's very generic, and we've seen most of the stuff done better in other films before. But the last 30 minutes, the third act, really kicks into high gear. The action, everything about it feels like a gangster film, a crime film. And the whole movie should have been like the last 30 minutes. But it was intriguing to see this. This script was on the blacklist for many years before it got into production. Netflix had the rights to distribute it online, and yeah, it has some quality to the way the cinematography looks. the score, everything else, but the editing, or should I say writing, just feels slow. Everything just feels like it's happening because it's happening. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. You're not invested too much into the characters the way you should be. And that really bogs this film down. If it wasn't for Jared Leto or the action in the later half, I would give this a 1 out of 5, but my score for The Outsider will be a 2 out of 5 and a C. It's an okay film, but it's not the best film, and it's almost bad in certain areas if it wasn't for the action or Jared Leto's performance and his relationship with the brother and the Yakuza mob boss, along with the woman he loves. It's very much Last Samurai with Yakuza. But besides that, it's an okay film. If you don't have any time, you're bored, you don't have anything to watch, I recommend A View, but there might be some better movies to check out on Netflix or just in general. That is my thoughts on The Outsider. Overall, it was an interesting premise. It had the seeds for a great movie. It's just the execution of all the elements that felt flat and really made it a forgettable film. So, a 2 out of 5 and a C. That is my review for The Outsider. If you haven't seen it, go with caution. If you really want to see it, give it a view, but it's not going to be the best film. I hope you enjoy it more than I did. If you have seen The Outsider, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the film? I thought it was okay, but I really wanted it to be a better film. I think it could have been a better film with everything given, and I really didn't feel like it was in the time period it took place in, the setting. It would have been much better if it was a modern movie of like some guy on the run, makes his way to Japan, and it has like an Only God Forgives Scarface vibe. Especially with the sister and the relation to the Yakuza, I really thought it was going to take like a Scarface turn. And like him being a true outsider against every one of the Yakuza. Just let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you like this video, click the like button, comment, and subscribe for more videos. You can check out my binge reviews of Jessica Jones, as well as my favorite Mad Max films.